Okay, welcome back to the Hotshot build. We are up to step 28, which is assembling the steering servo pieces, and then we can actually mount the servo into the car. So 3x10, finally. Why can't they do this with every kit? They give you flanged self-tapping screws. A lot of the time they give you just your standard 3mm self-tapping screws and a washer, which can be a royal right pain in the bum sometimes, especially on the like the Hornet and the Grasshopper, where you've got to screw them in from underneath and way up into the chassis, and you're trying your best to keep that washer on that screw while you're trying to line everything up. I don't know why they just don't use these flanged screws for all of that sort of stuff. One, you've got to take note of which way these posts go in relation to which servo you got, the height of your servo, I guess. But it does tell you that in the book. So once again, just read the drawing. You can't really say which ones to use or which way to use them, because you won't know until you actually measure your servo. In this case, our servo is more than 8mm tall from the flange. So these blocks get put on this way. If it was less than 8mm, they'd be around the other way with that spigot sticking forward instead of back. So the servo has been centered already. So that drive plate is going to sit like that. And our spring, servo horn, if it wants to stay on there. Little white washer. Now, I think I'm going to, yes I am going to, I'm going to thread lock this screw. Normally I'd put it, actually I'm going to do that. So, I'll take all this back off. I'm actually going to put the thread lock in the outdrive of the servo. This thread lock doesn't affect the plastic. At least I've never had any problems with that thread lock attacking plastic. But I still think it's good practice to avoid getting any thread lock on your plastics, just in case. Okay, so you just want to line that spigot as vertical as possible. You never get it spot on, but you end up taking that up with the radio trim. And because this is a metal outdrive servo, we're using a M3 machine screw, obviously, because we just put thread lock in it. You wouldn't put thread lock on a plastic bloody with a self tapper. Okay, so you know what I should have done. No, should be okay to do that. So I'm going to run a thread tap through these holes so we can screw in our ball connector. I should have done this before I put it on, but there should be room there. Plenty of room. So our two ball ends. Our steering arms. And that is step 28. Our steering servo, all assembled. That's strange. So, step 29, to mount the servo, you've got two screws, again screws with washers, but they're not 3mm screws, they're 2.6. That is strange. 2.6 screws with 3mm washers, which I think you gave me the wrong washers. They look too small for a 3mm.
I think there's 3mm there. Yeah, there's 3mm there. You got to use 2mm later.
Couldn't see for the foam tape. Well, that's what the Destruction says, so that's what we're going to do. This is a bit of a tight fit in here, but that is, I don't like that at all. It's screwing in, I guess, so must be alright. I've never seen this kind of servo set up that doesn't use 3mm screws. That is interesting. Well, there you go. You run into something new every day. That's what makes it interesting. It makes it fun. If all the cars were the same, then it'd get pretty boring pretty quick, wouldn't it? And that's our servo mounted. Now we can mount our electronics in that tiny little hole there. Now, I was telling a story in a previous video. A friend of mine had the original Hotshot that he used to bring around and pretty much just wipe everybody else out because we all had shit cars. They weren't shit cars, they just weren't as good as Hotshot at the time. But I can't remember back as to what electronics he had in it, but I dare say it would have been a mechanical speed controller. Maybe it had a Beck system. But how the hell did you used to be able to fit all of that in this tiny little compartment here? This might be an upgraded piece because it actually says in here Tamiya Hotshot 2 58710. So and down the bottom it's got 58062. So that might be a little bit different to the original Hotshot one. Now this is where it gets tricky because your hobby wing wires are only short, but I need two 2mm self-tapping screws. Right, so I'm going to have to go into the spare parts box again, and grab a couple of screws. So this what we're trying to do is we need to mount this. This is a switch adapter, 3D printed. That needs to get mounted into the chassis itself, the right way around, like that. But we need to do that before we stick the speed controller down, because I think that's just going to make it too awkward.
And are they too short, those ones?
They might be. Where's my... Okay, so we might actually skip this bit. It just could get a little bit fiddly. Okay, so you didn't see any of that. That was actually quite the struggle. Our switch is mounted in the original position using that switch adapter. If you are using them, just make sure the switch adapter isn't actually touching the drive shaft itself. So now we get to try and mount all this stuff in. I did have a bit of a play with this before, so basically the speed controller is going to go here, receiver there. Hopefully the receiver doesn't blow up after I've dropped it in my cup of coffee. Should be fine. Double-sided tape, here we go. And scissors. Skizzers, where's my skizzers?
In the plier holder.
In the skizzer hole. See what happens when you put things away. Can't find the bloody thing. Okay, so you wouldn't have seen a lot of that either. It was just mostly me swearing and cursing, trying to get everything where I wanted it to be. So, we have it all in. The only thing I don't like about this is it's going to be very hard to get to that receiver if I ever need to bind it to another radio, but you're going to have to I don't know, work that out as we go. But everything's in, the switch is mounted in the original spot. Now we just need to line this up and start dropping in. Actually, I am going to grease up all these screw holes, because they are all machine thread screws that bolt this mechanism box. And now it doesn't want to sit down properly. Oh, you went straight on before. What's your problem? Is that it? I think that's it. Okay, so we have 4 20mm screws and 4 27mm screws. 27s go up the front. And the other 4 into the rear. And I'm going to speak too soon here, but I think this is all you need to do to change your radio gear. Is those 6 screws. Don't know if you have to remove any of the roll cage to get to any of it. It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, people, some people don't like this car just for that reason, which I think is a bit harsh. But I mean, it's all just nuts and bolts, isn't it? It's just going to take you a little bit more time to muck around with the electronics. But like I said, if you are building this car to run, just make sure you choose the electronics you're going to run. And I mean, if this is your first car, that's going to be a bit difficult to know what works well with what. If you've built a few cars, then yeah, you kind of got a bit of an idea what electrics you're going to run. So it's really not that big of a deal. I really wish I had a screw gun for this. I don't know why these screws need to be this long. I'm going to bring you back when this is done. Okay. Oh, that took forever. Right, that's our mechanism box attached. So in the next step, it does tell you to put these steering rods on down here somewhere. There they are. We can adjust the toe later on as we need to. While we've got everything together here, well, it's not telling me to do that yet, so I won't. Okay, so front bumper. This screw here is telling you to apply thread lock, which they don't give you in the kit. But that's that aluminium mount that we installed way back in the front gearbox step. That's why you had to get that the right way around, otherwise you won't line your screw up with the hole. It's a 3x6, okay. And yeah, they actually give you a spring washer. I mean, spring washers should be banned completely. I hate spring washers. They're kind of a one-time use thing. I mean, technically, so are nylock nuts. You're supposed to, in industry anyway, you're supposed to only use a nylock nut once. If you're going to dismantle something with nylock nuts, then you have to pull the nuts off the bolts or studs. Then technically you should be replacing those nylock nuts, because the nylon portion has basically lost its self-locking ability. Much the same with your spring washer. I mean, the nylock nut does kind of retain its self-locking capabilities when you do reuse them. I mean, we reuse them all the time, don't we? But your spring washer, yeah, obviously you can reuse them. They do get reused. But they all too often, under tension and vibration, just break. And why? And once again, I'm struggling with stuff, and I've lost there it is. So I might actually, we have some couple of 3x8s and 3x12 flange. 3x12s, I might put them in first. They go into that rear hole, so a little bit of grease. Once I get this bumper on, that's going to be the end of this video. Because I've just realised I've gone overtime again. I'm having just so much fun. I keep forgetting to look at the clock. Okay, that's more or less in position. I might even change this out to a 3x8 if I can't get it started in this hole. It's not giving me a whole lot of thread to play with. Just caught the thread there, so if you have a spare 3x8 machine screw, it mightn't be a bad idea to swap that out. There's not a lot of thread engagement there. And these two screws are for your classic Hotshot front bumper. Which way does it go? Up top or up bottom? Does it go that way? So we are upside down machine, and wants to go that way from underneath. Just like that. So a bit of grease in the holes. And that is basically your Hotshot chassis completed. We've still got all the roll cage, the window netting, battery box, wheels and tyres, rims and tyres. Right, which we are going to do in the next video. But before we leave you, we are going to have a test run. So I have a battery here somewhere. Here we go. So turn that on. I have done this before off camera. It does sound a little tight. I'm guessing it beats. Hey, there we go. Something's working there. And might help if you plug the motor in. Forward, brake, reverse. It does sound a little tight, doesn't it? But hopefully that'll wear in. But everything works. That's a bonus. Now we've got to tie these motor wires up. So there you go. There's your classic Hotshot chassis. Without the roll bars, obviously. Right, let us know what you think. Thanks for watching, thanks for your support. Hope this isn't too long of a video for you guys. We'll find out once we edit it. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.